Don't just always go by Vinny stats. Go by Don's gut. Go Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, just go with your guts, everybody. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about numbers or facts or anything like that.
No.
Just go for it.
Whatever, man.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah. So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to not just another edition of Let's Talk Fantasy Football, but just as importantly, another edition of the fucking Voncast.
Yeah.
What that entails, I'm sure you already know. Who we have here today is, of course, the fan favorite, Vinny Gonzalez. Vinny, how are you?
What's going on, Don? It's been a while. How are you?
Good, man. It's been a while, and to be honest, with that while, Shrek's internet is still not up.
That's crazy, dude. That was like last week.
Insane, man. It's crazy. Shrek, get your internet. Come on, man. With the internet, let's go to our shout out to Vupiq, the revolutionary app that allows you to play fantasy football live while watching the game on TV. It lets you predict the plays, the result of the play, and literally play fantasy football. You can sign up for the beta now by going to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/Vupiq. What we're going to go over today is, if you listen to our last podcast, is we went over the first part of the AFC East. We went over last week the Jets and Patriots, and now we are going to be going over the Dolphins and the Bills. With that being said, you get the Dolphins and the Bills with a live 12-team PPR ranking, and don't forget to follow us either on your Android or iOS app at letstalkfantasyfootball.com/Apple or letstalkfantasyfootball.com/Android. Let's start off with the Buffalo Bills, Vin.
Let's go.
We've got a lot of players that either have question marks or we're looking forward to. We got some high ratings for LaShawn McCoy, questions on Sammy Watkins, and of course one of LTFF's favorites, Ty fucking God Taylor.
Yes.
Who do you want to hit first, man?
Let's just go in order. I tried to not play favorites. I put Ty God second. So
okay.
we could tackle the first guy who's actually going the highest in drafts for the Bills. So that's LaShawn McCoy. I think the last real running back you can build your team around in fantasy. He is the last standing man. I know you're probably going to say Jay Ajayi.
We'll talk about him later.
We'll touch him later, but I'll put my flag down and say LaShawn McCoy is the last one where you're like, yes, I have a number one running back. I'm set. And that being said, he is going in a spot where you might have to pass on an elite wide receiver. So I think where he's going is maybe the most interesting in the first round for sure.
Yeah, I remember asking you specifically the other week on who would be the guy that could break up the three running backs and the three receivers to go first, with the running backs being David Johnson, Lev Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, and then the receivers of Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Odell, and we brought up LaShawn McCoy could be the guy that could break that up there.
Yeah.
He seems to, for the most part, be that seventh pick in the first round, but with the value, he could be that running back that could go before one of them if you're really high value. I agree in a sense. I don't think he's the last person that you take to feel good about first, but LaShawn McCoy is nasty, man, and he really caught a good rhythm over in Buffalo.
Yeah, for sure, man. They fed him the ball. He could have had a huge, possibly RB1 year if he got all those Gillislee touchdowns. Fuck,
yeah,
all screwed up. But yeah, he got vultured really hard, and they took out Gillislee. The only guy I'm worried about stealing touchdowns is Mike Tolbert, but he's playing fullback on their depth chart. I don't even know. He might just be there for whatever they got to fill out, but it just seems like McCoy's always getting fucked with the vultures. And other than that, he is for sure a number one running back in the league.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare it to Mike Tolbert or Gillislee, I mean, that's a major drop Mike Tolbert may be on the goal line, but LaShawn McCoy's
that's
always that
what
guy
I'm
that's still always out there. So I'm not worried about it. I think, it's just another year with Shady in here. How old is Shady? Is Shady 29?
I believe so, because I think he was 28. I think he's going to be 29 when the season starts, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, no, he actually today is his birthday.
Happy birthday, LaShawn McCoy.
Which is odd. So he just turned 29. So he's obviously not too old just yet. He's probably hitting the last of his prime. This would be the season to do it.
He's right before the cliff, so
I think he is a safe bet pick for you to go, especially if you are the 7th pick in your draft. You can go hand in hand with him or Mike Evans, but with there being less top-tier running backs, I think Shady would be a good pick to go.
Yeah, and that's a tough call, McCoy or Evans. I don't even know what I would do unless it was happening. I really don't know what I would do.
Interesting.
I think I lean McCoy.
I mean, that's a good question. I actually don't know if I would know either. I think possibly I would – I think going to it, I would say Evans. But in the same sense –
yeah, it depends on how comfortable you are.
Once I'm up there –
right.
McCoy would probably be the one I take, but Evans is one going into it, I would think. So, But either way, I think that's someone that you're going to have a safe bet with that's going to pan out for you.
Yeah. Just for context, LaShawn McCoy last year, he was a top 25 running back every single week he played, except for the 2 when he got hurt. And he was a top 15 back for 11 weeks of the season last year. So he is the real fucking deal. Buffalo knows how to use him, and it will continue this year.
Yeah, and I mean, how long are your fantasy regular seasons anyway? I mean, we're finishing off at, 15, 16 weeks? Top 15 out of 11 of them, can't really beat that.
Incredible.
So, absolutely. Leading that up to, why don't you go to one of your favorite guys to ever speak about?
Ty fucking God Taylor. He is so disrespected. Why? Why, Don?
Number 18, QB.
It's fucking bullshit, man. I think. I know we already yelled about this on the first or I did on the first podcast, which was in, when was that, May?
Yeah.
I'm still going to yell about it now. How is the guy that finished as the 8th QB last year being drafted as the 18th right now?
It's a good question, man.
He finished he did that. He did that without fucking Sammy Watkins basically all year. Maybe 1 or 2 games Watkins was in. Yeah. That's insane.
No, it is insane. I'm just looking at the QBs ahead of him and all that. Andy Dalton, I'm taking Tyrod Taylor over. So and I'm going over everyone that's ahead of him. Eli Manning, we're
Tyrod.
on the same page. Tyrod, right? Matthew Stafford is the number 15 QB.
I do like Stafford, but if he's what round is he going in?
Beginning of the 11th.
Oh, see, all right.
See, now
maybe Stafford there,
and you're already debating that, and Stafford's the 15th ranked QB.
Yeah, but who are the other guys? Roethlisberger,
Dak Prescott, which you can argue.
I would take Tyrod.
Phillip Rivers.
Fuck, I love Phillip. Got to go Phillip.
Right. Marcus Mariota.
Nope, Tyrod.
You taking Tyrod over Marcus, huh? With the receiving staff that they have this year?
Yeah, I would.
I don't know. I'm not. Jameis Winston.
That's a tough one. I think I would go Tyrod in that one too.
I would be okay with that. I like Marcus. I think Marcus Mariota has a really good receiving core this year. But
he sure does.
Then Kirk Cousins.
Fuck, I do love Kirk too. I think I'd go Kirk on that one.
Yeah, Kirk slings, man.
Kirk slings.
Roethlisberger, obviously, he's just never healthy a full season. But Tyrod. I think Tyrod would be just a safer bet. Cam.
Wow. I'm going Tyrod over Cam.
I don't hate it. Just for a consistent factor. Yeah. Overall, you're going to not get more total points, but.
Basically, the point is Tyrod's going super late. So if you want to stock up on any garbage guys you want, any reaches you want late, you can always bank on Tyrod being there super, super at the bottom.
I mean, you could take him as your second QB.
That's a good strategy too, Don. Grab a little Stafford or Phillip and then get some insurance with Tyrod. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he'd be really good value for a 2 QB league, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he'll definitely be going higher, but that just comes with the adjustment of the –
yeah, that's with the adjustment. Everyone else moves up higher too.
Lower. Well, the QBs would move up. Everyone would probably move down.
Right. I'm just talking about – but I just said he's the 18th valued QB, not even talking about ADP.
Man, that is fucked.
So
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it.
League, man, he's the second half of the 2 QBs being drafted. And if you're in a 12-team 2 QB league,
crazy.
So, I mean, the ones that are going behind him are Carson Wentz, Carson Palmer, Blake Bortles, and Ryan Tannehill, and I don't think they're anywhere near that category of where Tyrod Taylor's value is.
That's fucked up. Going back, the same thing I did with McCoy. Tyrod finished in the top 15 QBs 12 weeks out of last season. He was just great. Yeah. Very consistent. Always has that rushing upside. And if Sammy Watkins is healthy, dude, they're ridiculous when they're on the field together.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. And I mean, the way I'll look at Tyrod Taylor this year is if you don't get Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, or Drew Brees, don't even reach for another quarterback. Wait for a Tyrod Taylor to come to you in a 12-team league, the middle of the 12th round.
Yeah, well, that you could say that about pretty much a lot, like the rest of the QBs. You don't have to panic if those 3 leave. You could definitely wait.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't reach on anyone else. Don't reach on a Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck, Derek Carr,
right?
Russell Wilson, or Cam. Just wait till the 12th round and just grab Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, very much agreed.
Cool, man. Next up, the guy that we were just talking about, Mr. Sammy Watkins. Obviously, he's a great talent and brings a lot of value even with Tyrod Taylor when he's out there. The only thing is that he's always hurt too.
Which sucks because when he I know we probably say this about a lot of people, but when he is out there, he's so good. He's one of the top receivers in the league if he just has a healthy full season. So that's what you're gambling on. And lo and behold, Don, remember what we were talking about last podcast with the 4th round mess of wide receivers that you can choose from? Sammy Watkins is right there, 2nd pick, 4th round.
Right.
Is that too pricey for you, or would you rather – I'd definitely rather see him slide, but the more I think about it, I'm pretty comfortable with Sammy Watkins, as one can be looking at the upside and what he can bring to the Buffalo offense.
Yeah. It's funny. I unfortunately, sometimes I'm not the risk taker. I like the consistent guy. Sammy Watkins in the 4th round, I would take – the guys going behind him are Jarvis Landry, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Michael Crabtree, Martavis Bryant. I would probably let Sammy Watkins slide, and I'd probably take one of those guys.
Out of that list, I'd probably I'd consider Landry. I'm not sure what I would do. And I would definitely take Crabtree ahead of him. But that's all preference on my part.
Yeah, no, I just don't think – I just think he's a guy that's – I think he's like a Derrick Rose of the NFL, man. He's just –
He'll never be healthy.
Talent is pure, man. I mean, he is nasty. It's like Derrick Rose is. But, dude, that guy is hurt no matter what it is. And I think Sammy Watkins is that guy, and he's just not going to get you a full season. I'd rather just skip on him and get the next guy that's – if they're not as good, they're just a hair under. I'll take Juice all day. I'll take Jarvis. Or I'll take Devontae too.
Yeah, and just the way we're talking about it, like where Sammy is landing, that could be a spot where people are trying it out, and that's why the ADP is reflective that way. So we could see Sammy Watkins slide a ton in drafts. He could even possibly like slip an entire round.
Right.
So keep your eye out for Sammy Watkins. Don't just throw him in the trash. He has a lot to bring if he is healthy. So if he starts sliding, start considering it. But I understand why you wouldn't do it, and I understand why you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. Sammy Watkins is a guy that if he was healthy and didn't have these health issues, he's a
no question
top 5.
Yes.
But definitely top 10, if not top 5 receiver all the way.
Yeah. We have lofty expectations as long as he's healthy. So
for me, it's not worth the risk. I will own most likely 0 of Sammy Watkins unless he's like falling to me in like the 6th round.
Yeah, you're probably better for it, Don, but I'm starting to get a little cute, and I'm interested.
I'm so not cute, man.
Don't say that, dude.
So not cute.
Oh, God. Shrek's gonna hate this podcast.
Shrek's going to really like reconsider like having like backup internet after having 2 Bondcasts.
Yeah.
It's true. It's not good.
Can't disconnect like that.
I have a PBR in hand. You're all welcome.
Moving on here. Another piece of the offense that is, I believe he has no ADP, which I thought was interesting, I guess. Charles Clay.
Yeah, whatever, man. I mean, that's a guy that we've always said is a tight end roulette guy. I went on my rant last cast about there's just a lot more content to the tight ends this year. There's a lot of better tight ends this year that you don't have to worry about running a gamble on. I mean, there is a lot of people ahead of him, and I don't see much value in him at all. If you want to play a matchup on a tight end roulette, cool. But he's not even the top 25.
Yeah,
or maybe he's the top. Maybe he's the 25th.
He's way out of it. I was going to make a point. He finished the season strong, and he costs nothing. So if you're in a league that's like that, people double up on tight ends or something like that, and you kind of get lost in it, or you need to take a second one, Charles Clay could be an interesting name to watch. Yeah. Just because, really not a huge factor, but just something to think about.
Definitely.
And then the rest of the receiving core they got here. Yeah, it's a lot of free agent guys, and the rookie they drafted, Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Who is out of East Carolina, and basically what I was gathering was he's pretty average, but makes sense. It made a lot of sense to fit the Bills this season. They don't have a 2. Like, they're basically having an open competition for someone opposite Sammy Watkins. So he seems to be a natural fit for a 2. So if he can, I don't know, just get in there and do something, he'll probably be the Bills' number 2 this year because they have Andre Holmes, Corey Brown, and Brandon Tate.
Yeah.
Ugh, just gross.
Yeah, it's gross. If you want to look at Zay Jones, wait to see what Sammy Watkins and if he gets injured, maybe you start seeing fantasy value. But I don't think he's anyone or anyone else gets drafted other than, unless you're in a really deep league, is just Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh,
you know,
I think that's it for the Bills. Do we miss anybody?
Yeah, they're just like the kickoff, just like the Jets were. Not too much to talk about.
At least the fucking Bills are good. Like, they're decent.
At least there's some sort of fantasy value. You got to
they have a running back, a quarterback, and a receiver. So there's that.
You got a first rounder to pick from. You got Ty God, who's one of the sleepers of the league this year.
Goddamn crime, Don. A goddamn crime.
Just throw him in the crime pot with Jonathan Stewart, Rashard Matthews. He's in that crime pot there. So. With that being said, we're also going to take another early quick break so we can get to the second part of the cast where we can talk a lot more about my boy Jay Ajayi and Juice. But our break here, don't forget, we have the revolutionary app, Vupiq, that allows you to play fantasy football live while watching the game on TV, predict the plays, the result of the play, and literally play fantasy football. You can sign up for the beta now by going to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/Vupiq. And we're back here with Miami Dolphins. Dude, Vinny, tell me everything about how much you love Jay Ajayi, man.
Don, cut the shit and just talk about why you like him, and then I'll tell you why I don't. Don't do that to me.
I guarantee by the time it's time to draft, Jay Ajayi is on one of your teams.
I guarantee he won't be.
I guarantee you he will be.
No, you can't make a bet on something I totally control like that. Unless you want to.
So Jay Ajayi is being predicted by the ESPN Dolphins reporter that he could total up to 1,900 total yards, which we've talked about in our podcast, which he will not do. He will
1,435
yards rushing, 482 receiving, and 12 touchdowns. That's a fucking lot. That's a lot. I'm not expecting that.
I wish I could report for my favorite team.
I'm not expecting that, but I think I'm not against Jay Ajayi. I think he's had 2 solid years. Last year he really blew up, and we've already talked about maybe Foster retire. The year before that, we've seen flashes. Yeah. I like Jay Ajayi. They like him. I like him. I think he's going to be a solid play. I think he's shown a lot of good things. I don't think he's going to be someone that just all of a sudden disappears.
Dude. He has bust written all over.
Dude.
He has bust. It's tattooed on his forehead, man.
Tell me how he got a bust on his forehead.
Okay. That was a rough one, Don. Shrek's going to do a lot of editing.
More bleeping, Shrek. If you got your internet back up, man.
All right. So really, I don't know what you're talking about, 2 solid years. He had 1 solid year, and it was last year.
No.
The first year he was a rookie and barely got any playing time.
Yeah, but whatever, man.
Anyway, he took over fully week 5 against the Titans. He had 3 games in which he totaled 624 yards. In 3 games. That's where he got the bulk of everything. The bulk of his rushing yards, the bulk of his fantasy points, everything. In the 9 other games he was playing, he was so mediocre, dude. He was barely getting 60 yards. And if you take the total of all the yards he got in those 9 games, it's 573. If you take out those 3 outlier games, which are massive games, and he earned them, don't get me wrong, but if you take those out and you kind of even take it down to like give up like 80 for those, it's still just an average season.
Well, like I said, James Walker, man, he's saying that he's going to get 1,900 total yards. I like it, man. I like Jay Ajayi this year. I think he's going to be good.
Massive disappointment for you, Don.
You're a massive disappointment.
I'll take down the hostility a little bit. I just don't. I'd be way more comfortable with him. Like if he was going end of the 3rd, 4th round. That's just not the case anymore with running backs. So they're like falling in love with Jay Ajayi as their number 1 running back. I just don't. You're putting a lot of faith in those 200-yard games that he basically had. That's what you're banking on.
Okay, so let's play the game. Jay Ajayi, he's like the first back. He's the first pick of the 2nd round. Now, I already know you're going to say you're going to take DeMarco Murray and Jordan Howard over him. I understand that. And that one I'm fine with. I'm cool with people valuing DeMarco Murray and Jordan Howard over him. Marshawn Lynch or Jay Ajayi?
I think I would go Lynch, honestly.
Todd Gurley or Jay Ajayi?
I would go Todd Gurley. I would put blind faith in some kind of bounce back here for Gurley. I think he's more talented.
That's fine too. Leonard Fournette, Jay Ajayi?
Can't do Fournette. I'm sorry.
Okay. Lamar Miller, Jay Ajayi?
I would go Miller.
Okay. So that pushes – you're looking now putting Jay Ajayi as your like 11th running back. Isaiah Crowell, Jay Ajayi?
I got to go Crowell.
Damn. All right. So Vinny's proven his point that he likes a lot of these running backs.
No, I really do. It's Don, don't get me wrong. It's Jay Ajayi is good. He's good. He did well. But where he's going, what people are expecting is fucking ludicrous.
I like it. I don't have as great a stats other than Walker's stats there for you. But I've got a gut feeling, and you should follow that more.
It sounds like that guy had a gut feeling, too, and just wrote numbers down on a paper.
It's almost like in my English class at Bergen Community College when I had to watch a documentary about this show about statistics, and the father would always look up the statistics of how much pressure or whatever it would need for the ice to crack on the pond. And he would always check every day to make sure it was safe for his son. And the stats said that the ice was thick enough so his son could go out there. Well, guess what? His stats were fucking wrong, and the kid broke through the ice and unfortunately drowned. Don't just always go by Vinny's stats. Go by Don's gut. Go Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, just go with your guts, everybody. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about numbers or facts or anything like that.
No.
Just go for it.
Whatever, man. Let's get to the next point in there. Agree to disagree. Obviously, Vinny and Shrek don't feel the Jay Ajayi. We'll get Walsh on at some point to get his take on that one, since this has always been a hot take almost every week. Matt, we might see him at some point, so we'll maybe get his take on that.
Who?
Matt.
We know a Matt?
Yeah, he's at the ESPYs.
Oh, yeah. We probably should have mentioned that in the other podcast.
That's pretty cool, by the way.
Matt actually is at the ESPYs, throwing our names around, apparently.
Cool fact: you haven't seen Matt yet this season yet, just like Walsh, but they're going to be here soon. Matt moved to California. Congrats, Matt! But he's at the ESPYs today, which is pretty cool as well.
Very
so that's
cool.
why he was not able to make it tonight.
Hopefully, we have everybody
going on.
Yeah, we'll get to that later for next week.
Right. But going on with the Dolphins here, because we spent way too much time.
Yeah, we should probably pick it up.
Not just this cast, but every other cast with Jay Ajayi. Jarvis Landry, man. I mean, that's where we were talking about a lot with where the receivers fall here. Yep. What do you think about Jarvis Landry this year, where he falls? Your overall take on him?
Always been a big fan. I like him so much as a player that I'll take him in fantasy, and it really hasn't panned out. I think as much as people want him to like excel in that offense, like we always look at him as a PPR monster, and it's not necessarily true, but we lean on his catches for production. And what I mean by that is he doesn't really get a whole lot of yards, definitely not a lot of touchdowns. So we kind of overvalue and expect the catches to lead to more yards and more touchdowns. And for Jarvis Landry, that case has not been true. So when you're taking Jarvis Landry, you're hoping to get the guaranteed catch volume, and then you're banking on the fact that he'll get the yards and touchdowns, he'll just have to make a play at that point. Yeah. Because he's not really running any deep routes. He'll just have to do his thing and get that yak.
Yeah, I mean, so Jarvis Landry, the past two seasons of 2015, 2016, how many total touchdowns do you think he's had if you combine both?
Throughout his career?
2015, 2016, yeah.
Man, like 7?
He has, 8. But
all right, yeah, right there.
He had 8 between 2015 and 2016 for receiving touchdowns. 4 2016, 4 2015. That's where you're really lacking, and that's something you got to hope for that changes.
Yeah, and I think that's why people like Landry, because if these dart throws hit on his yards and touchdowns, the dude is a monster.
Yeah, I mean, does this more land on his ability, or is it more of you got your question mark where we're going to lead into more of Ryan Tannehill?
It's Tannehill and the scheme, because they're not running. They're running Landry very specifically. They're doing crosses over the middle. They're doing hitch routes. They're just trying to get him the ball so he can make a play, which I get. He's good at that. But they're not really – they haven't expanded on his role at all since he's been there, so it's a little tough. It's a little tough. And I don't blame him at all. He's a great player, but it's just you got to look at these things when you're going to take him in that realm where you've already said it's a toss-up in that 4th round.
Yeah. I think Juice is going to have a good year this year. I agree.
He'll have a solid year.
I say he doubles his touchdowns this year. I say he gets 8.
He'll get 8 this season?
Yes.
I'll take the under.
Take the under?
If you want to bet?
Sure.
If you want to bet?
Sure. Want to bet a 6-pack?
Let's do 7.5. Let's do it.
7.5? Sure. Fuck it.
We have to. We can't land on 8.
Word. Cool. I'll take that.
All right, nice.
So we'll do 7.5. Vinny takes the under. I'll take the over. The Miami Dolphins might be my new Jaguars this year.
I'm feeling that, Don.
Speaking of which, another reason for why they might be my Jaguars, I kind of really like Devontae Parker and everything they've been saying.
Interesting. I was gonna, because I'm up in the air. He's going around gamble territory, 2nd pick, 8th round. I'm guessing you just like the upside.
I like the upside. Devontae Parker's name's been tossed around for, I would say, the past 2 seasons as well, that Jarvis Landry's been passed around. Obviously, Jarvis Landry being a much better talent, but Devontae Parker's been a fantasy
sleeper
topic. Yeah, for about 2 years now. He's still sleeping. He's at the beginning of the 8th round. So, one of our sites that we use a lot is, obviously Fantasy Football Calculator, but one that we reference a lot as well is Sleeper Bot that I have on our app and on my phone. They update us on all news for all sports. And I get blown up about Devontae Parker like all the time with Sleeper Bot. They really, really like Devontae Parker. So, again, it all depends on where their offense goes, how Tannehill does. But I think Devontae Parker is a good pick especially if he can fall a little bit under the 8th round. If he's still around, I think that's another sleeper. Just like how I value Rashard Matthews, I think Devontae Parker is going to be a good number 2 receiver for Miami and someone that you can have on the bench that you might be able to rely on.
Yeah, he's that guy that's going to try and stretch the field, along with Kenny Stills, who we'll get to as well. But he's one of those big playmakers. So you're plugging him in to try and get that like 40 to 60-yard bomb for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So where he's going is fine. And if you expect more out of that offense, if you can get it rolling, more power to you, man.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Why don't you just lead right into Kenny Stills?
Yeah, go for it. So am I talking to myself? Sorry. Yeah, go for it, me.
Yeah, go for it, myself.
Kenny Stills is free, 11th pick, 14th round. He was a dude you were plugging and playing on bye weeks and crossing your fingers really hard. So I don't think you really necessarily need to draft him. I think he'll be available in tons of your leagues after the draft is over. So I wouldn't worry too much about him. It's just kind of a plug and play to me.
I think that's the perfect way to describe him, as a plug and play. Someone that you can pick up in a few weeks into the season that, if you need to play, and he might have if you're going to play a matchup week and you think he's going to do well, you could throw him in, but he's not going to be an every week starter, obviously, or someone you could just pick up for a few weeks and then re-drop. So I think that's a great description of Kenny Stills this season.
Yep. We are all in agreement on Kenny Stills. Underrated free agency edition, Julius Thomas. Really didn't get talked about too much throughout free agency, but
no,
I thought it was extremely interesting. And Tannehill has struggled amassing touchdowns, so you get that red zone threat in there. What are you thinking, Don? Are we seeing?
Yeah, I mean,
are we going to see a revival by any means of Julius Thomas?
I don't know if it's a revival. I think where I've seen him land is fair. I've gone where when I was mocking and I've left tight ends open, where all the guys have kind of gone like all the way up to like Hunter Henry and all that. And then it's you kind of choose if you want Zach Ertz, Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, OJ Howard, or Julius Thomas. Of those guys, I'd probably take the upside of Julius Thomas over the Zach Ertz, Jack Doyle, Ebron, and OJ Howard. I think he's like kind of like my 10th or 11th guy off. And if I have to deal with him as like my tight end, I'm the last person. Like that's the last starting tight end available. I'm cool with Julius Thomas. I'll leave the draft thinking, not having huge expectations, but not also in the same sense worrying about, oh my God, I'm going to have to play tight end roulette every week.
Yeah, I'm actually very much on the same page. I think if you're walking away from the draft and you completely waited on tight end, he could be your last pick. I would even go defensive kicker possibly before him. He's right now. Yeah, right now his ADP is so low you can't even like he'll probably go undrafted in most leagues because I'm sure a lot of other people will go before him.
I mean, if you don't want to reach on a tight end, or you want to keep going value on the receivers, running backs, whatever it may be, dude, just let JT slide. Or if you've already seen that all of your value tight ends are gone, just let JT slide and pick him up at the end, because that's where I've fell on him a few times in my mocks already, and I'm cool with it. So he's there. Yeah,
I completely agree, dude.
Go Jags, man. That's why he left the Jags. Now he's in Miami. Now Miami's my team to watch this year and pull for, which is actually also bad news because when I pulled for the Jags last year, they all fucking sucked. So maybe don't draft Jay Ajayi or any of these guys.
You're cursing the Dolphins early.
Go with the gut, man.
Poor guys.
But rolling through, man, we'll leave it up to Ryan Tannehill, man. Is he worth even drafting?
No.
Is he worth talking about?
No. I mean, he's that guy.
He'll get drafted before Josh McCown, so he's the
play him against the Jets. There you go.
Cool. What is his? What I'm pulling this back up. What is his ADP? Do you have that, Finn?
I do. Sadly, he's the 5th person in the 14th round. I don't know what quarterback he's going as, but I would imagine it's pretty low. And I think it's under Tyrod Taylor at this point.
No, he's the 22nd QB. So,
yeah, I mean, like you said before, the 2 QB leagues, it's always a different story. Tannehill, I guess, has always been a flyer favorite of people who expect him to just start being good. But he's always been, pretty okay. Nothing too exciting. Nothing you can lean on for sure. Streamer territory and something you kind of don't want to do every week.
Yeah. No, another plug-and-play guy if you have to.
Agreed.
Playing against the Jets.
Jets play Tannehill twice. That's it.
Twice, and that's it. So that's fair. So pick them up on that week, drop them after, and then grab them again. With that being said, before we close out, we actually do have some reader questions. Thankfully, although Shrek's internet's down, not his phone. So he actually sent these in so that we could put it up there. Question 1, Vin. Would you trade Olsen for Jordan Reed in a PPR keeper?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Why?
I think it's obvious why I would, because Jordan Reed is young, although unhealthy, or hasn't been able – I shouldn't say that. It sounds like he's sick or something. He hasn't been able to stay on the field. So, but George Olsen George Olsen. Holy shit. It's time to wrap this up. Greg Olsen, he's getting up there in age, so I would definitely do that trade.
Nice. Actually, pretty funny. So, one, I agree with you. Yes. Higher value, younger. So definitely do it. Funny thing is actually with Greg Olsen, we're from New Jersey, and close to where Greg Olsen grew up, Wayne Hills, they're actually doing right now a voting of the top 4 best sports players ever to go through Wayne Hills. And Wayne Hills actually produced like a bunch of like professional athletes. It's kind of crazy. But Greg Olsen's up. Yeah, Greg Olsen's up for the voting. I actually did a vote today because our friends reached out to us about it. So won't tell you my vote, but Greg Olsen's in the running for it, obviously. But it was in 4th place out of all of them, which is kind of crazy. You would think
that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So anyway, we'll get to the next one. Oh, our boy Ed threw one in here.
Ed,
thank you, Ed. In a half-point PPR, would you rather have Landry at his ADP or Parker at his ADP?
I'm going Landry for sure there, just because we were talking about how you can count on the PPR production there, and Devontae Parker, not so much.
I agree, because you do have a half-point PPR. I would go with Landry. So we've talked about that realm of receivers a lot past few casts. So Landry, but we don't hate Parker. The second part of Ed's question is, even though this probably should have went in our last cast, do you trust Mike Gillislee to take over LeGarrette Blount's role, which we talked a lot about? Vinny actually killed Mike Gillislee. I fucked him. Again, sorry, Shrek. Vin, why don't you take that away for Ed real quick?
Yeah, I think I literally said I don't trust him to do that without even seeing this question. I think I said word for word he's not going to take Blount's role. Mm-hmm. I have no evidence of this. It's just like I don't trust Belichick.
You're going with the gut.
Yeah, fuck stats, right, Don?
Yeah, fuck stats. So, yeah, we hit this a lot last cast, obviously. But I think Mike Gillislee is going to start off strong. But again, we talk about it all the time, the fuckery. You don't know if that's going to stay consistent or if the longevity of that. So we're going to go on the more of the not trusting the Mike Gillislee to take over the LeGarrette Blount role. The next question, thank you, Bobby Mars. Who the fuck is the Jets quarterback?
That is fucking hilarious. It's funny that doesn't even have an answer because they don't even know.
It's Josh McCown, but they're gonna blow their season so they can get another quarterback. So
that is the best question we've ever had.
Yeah, don't draft any Jets quarterback.
Rather than using Google, he asked us who the fuck the Jets quarterback is.
We also got it. That is great.
I love it.
The next one is, why did the Jets release almost all their veterans, and who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets? Okay, so we just hit that. We don't know. Doesn't matter. None of them are fantasy relevant, no matter who the starter is. There's 25 other guys that are on there that we've ranked. We got Tyrod Taylor on the 18th QB. Pick up Tyrod Taylor. But thank you for the question, Ravens 101 the best. And then Z Money 1519. How will a Jay Ajayi do? Well, we've talked about this a lot. We have 2 different consensus of it. I'm going to trust the gut. You should trust my gut. It's pretty big. Jay Ajayi is going to do great this year.
No, he's not.
I think Jay Ajayi is going to have a good year. I'm cool with him being like one of the first picks in the second round. Go Jay Ajayi.
No.
If you want to listen to the square, he's saying no. Other than that,
I don't see it.
That wraps up our questions. Guys, thank you for submitting that. Before we close out here, Make sure that you get the apps. Again, we have it both for Apple and Android. You just go to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/Apple or letstalkfantasyfootball.com/Android. Make sure to review us on iTunes. Again, like we say, start mocking our next one. Stay tuned. We're going to do a live 12-team PPR mock draft with all of us. It's not going to be like we did on Fantasy Football Calculator. It's going to be me, Vin, Shrek, Walsh. I think Ed is joining us.
Yeah, I think Ed's in. Ed is in.
Ed is in. So, Ed, if you guys only started listening to us this season, Ed is always our main guy that submits a question every week. And he's also has great knowledge with fantasy. He's someone that we look, to information as well when he reaches out to us. And then also Matt, hopefully he's joining us as well, part of our LTFF crew. And most importantly, Shrek, please get your internet fixed, man. We can't keep Von casting for the listeners. It's just bad. It's just bad for LTFF, man. But other than that, guys, that's Vinny Gonzalez and your boy, the DON. We'll catch you on the flip side.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.